This is from 2014. This was the basic GoPro. You know, you had the black and the silver. This would be considered maybe the white for this, for the 4, GoPro Hero 4. So it was about that time. Problem with this GoPro was it was built in to the case, and the back door kept you from, there's a back door right here, kept you from accessing the battery. You can't just pull the battery out and put a different battery in once it's dead. So what happened here is, how I broke this was, right here is the USB port, and there's a plastic piece that keeps the pins straight, and it had came out on its own by just, you know, using the camera. So it wasn't seated in there very good, because it seemed like I only had it maybe half a year and I lost the piece, came out. I don't know where it went. Well, over the time of me putting a USB cord in, taking it out, I bent the pins inside, and once the pins were bent, I lost the ability to charge and transfer data. Once the battery right here eventually died down, I lost all power. The camera was useless. So it's been sitting on my shelf for a couple years now. But the other day on Amazon, and I had looked around and seen, you know, how to fix this, you know. iFixit had where you can replace this board right here, but no one has the board. Can't find it anywhere. I Googled it, I looked on eBay, everywhere, you know, can't get this board anywhere. The only way you can get it is if someone broke their camera and they're selling the parts or something like that. So no one had it. So this is the board that actually takes the USB in, charges everything, allows you to transfer data and all that. So I can't replace this. So there's no way to charge it unless maybe I unsolder this, solder it up, but then I run the risk of just messing this board up completely, right? And I'm not very good at soldering, so I mean, my soldering gun's kind of old and bulky, so it's not the best soldering gun. So I found this board right here on Amazon for $5, and what it does is takes a 5-volt, which is from a USB. So you could plug a USB in here, or you could hardwire the wires. So just solder them on, you get your positive and your negative. And it converts it down to 3.7 volts. This is designed to charge lithium batteries, which is here in the GoPro. So what I've done is I've soldered this directly to this battery. And the reason is, and I left all these wires here that plugs into this board here. I left all that there. What I wanted to do is just trickle charge this, keep this battery charged, and that way I didn't want to have to mess with figuring out what wires what. There's 3 wires there. I'm assuming one's a ground, positive, negative, but let's keep it simple, right? So instead of messing all this up, I left it there. I just soldered your negative and your positive onto these little circuit boards right here. On the circuit board, you got 2 platforms here, and that's what regulates the charge of this here. So basically, it's not going to hurt anything. Now, with that all said and done, I got this working, charged the battery up, and now now it works. The camera works, and I'm happy that it's working. So what I decided to do next was, instead of plugging it in, unplugging it all the time, you know, I already have another GoPro, so this one's been sitting on the shelf. I decided that I'm going to just pop this off here, get a gland, and go ahead and make this sucker waterproof. I mean, there's no reason. I'm just going to hook this up to my kayak, leave it on there, and let it charge itself and stay charged. And I've done it. I've hooked up the battery here up to a USB port, charged this, and as long as I leave this on, this battery stays charged. You don't lose any power. This keeps it fully charged. So, and then if I do lose power from my USB for whatever reason, I still have my battery to run off of. So with the 32 gigabyte card in here, 1080p, I estimate I could probably get 8 hours of recording time on that SD card. This only holds up to 32. That was another downfall of this model. So, you know, maybe a day's float. I can record non-stop, not having to worry about changing out batteries or anything like that, because I'm going to wire this sucker straight up to my 12-volt battery in my kayak, which I'll have to get a converter for that. That'll convert it to 5 volts. which won't be a problem to do. I mean, I've got a cigarette lighter in there, so I'll just use the cigarette lighter adapter on that. So theory now is that I should be able to kayak nonstop, full trip, get all the video, never have to worry about changing out the batteries, and I'll mount this on the front of my kayak. So in the end, I've saved my camera and I've got it modified for my kayak now, so not too bad. I'm just happy that it works and I'll get some life out of it still. So lesson learned, don't buy the cheapest GoPro, get something that you can pull the batteries out and also be able to hold a little more memory than what this sucker does.